Hey there. I am going to tell you a story today about one of the best days of my life. And this happened the summer after my senior year of high school. I applied for a trip to go to Japan, and it was all expenses paid, and it was just the time of my life. And one particular day that stood out in my mind was when I was with my host family, and I had a host mom and a host sister. And my sister, she had to take a test like the SAT or the ACT. And in Asia, like their school system is really intense. So she took that test for about 4 or 5 hours. I just remember her being gone for a majority of the day. So my host mom took me out around town, and we did a lot of different fun things, and so I'll tell you about that. Now, what you should know is that my host mom, her English wasn't really there. She knew a word here or there, but overall she would speak to me in Japanese. So she would say a lot in Japanese, and I would I would try and process that information, and then I would reciprocate what I understood to her. And that was kind of how we would communicate. So it was back and forth, an English word here, Japanese phrase here, until we would communicate. So we set up that system, and we first went to a karaoke bar, but it wasn't like an alcohol bar. It was just, in Japan, when you go to karaoke, you don't do it in a room full of people. You actually rent a room, so you're not with everyone who's at the karaoke place. You rent a room to yourself for a few hours, or with some friends. I mean, if you go alone, it's really sad. But you usually go with a group of friends, and then you rent a room depending on how many people you have. So we just got a room with the two of us, and she rented the room for 2 hours, and we get unlimited like soda, because that's how karaoke places work. There you can order food and soda and whatever else, or pop, whatever, however you want to say that word. And so I got melon soda, which was really good. And you go into the room, and they've got the individual microphones for you to use, and there's a phone in the room that you can make calls if you need more food or more drinks or whatever. And so for 2 hours I'm here with my host mom singing her American songs that she was picking out. So she wanted like Thriller by Michael Jackson, and she wanted me to sing Britney Spears, and at one point I even sang her Lady Gaga, the song Judas. That was an interesting experience for her. But so I sang for like 2 hours, because she's not really a singer, so she sang one song for me in Japanese, and it was cute. So then after that, she took me to the best restaurant ever. Like, it might have been the best meal I ever ate in my life. We had noodles. They're called udon, which is UDON. And they're thick noodles in this like warm broth. They're really good. It's hard to describe. You have to just try it yourself. And then there was tempura with it. That's TEMPURA. That's like how Americans spell it, because it doesn't matter. Anyway, so that is like fried vegetables, shrimp, or chicken. So I got a piece of fried shrimp and fried chicken, and their special batter. And then it was just the greatest meal I ever had in my life. And I think I ate it in like 10 minutes. And my host mom was like, "Oh, you're hungry." But, so there was that. And then, what did we do after? Oh, so when we were done eating, because she told me this was like the best place to get udon and tempura, we decided to go, well, we were going home, and I saw this big store and it said Sega on it. And if you know Sega, it's a game company. They make games like Sonic and things like that. So I was like, oh, it's probably a store. They sell Sega game merchandise. I'm just going to go in. And what I realized that is all of those places that say Sega, they're actually arcades. And here in America, arcades are kind of lame. I don't know. Like, little kids go, but in Japan, they're everyone. Like, little kids to adults to even older people, everyone goes. And they're really fun. So they had this game. Here we call it, like, the crane game, you know, where the claw comes down and it picks up a toy. And you're trying to win that way. Well, in Japan they have that. They're called UFO catchers. I know, it's kind of strange. But the trick there is there'll be like a pile of toys, almost like a waterfall of toys, and you have to knock it down instead of trying to pick it up and bring it in, if that makes sense. So I pick this one machine. It's got all these toys. And I put in my money, and I knock the toy off from this cascading waterfall of toys, and it gets stuck in between the glass and the toys, and the lady who worked at the arcade came by, and she saw that it was stuck in, so she opened up the glass and let it fall through and gave it to me, and then and this is all in Japanese, and she's telling me, how to get this next toy. She's like, okay, so you have this one, now you want to get the matching toy. So this is how you get it. And so she told me the strategy of how to knock it down. So I'm trying so she closes the glass back, and then I'm trying to knock this toy down, and it's not working, so she comes back and sees that, opens up the glass and moves the toy to an easier location and closes it, and is like, here, try again. So I get it, and it gets stuck in the glass again. And so she comes by, opens the glass, and it falls through. And then, congratulates me on a good job. And gives me her name, and if I need any more help through the rest of the day, just to let her know. And it was just such a friendly, good experience. Like, no other place I feel like would do that for me, and it's like only in Japan would this happen. But that was probably just like my fondest memory from the day. So when we were done at the arcade, we were driving back, and we passed like a sake store, like an alcohol store, because sake is Japanese alcohol. And my host mom's like, oh, do you like sake? Do you like alcohol? I was like, well, I was only 18, and I was like, in America, you can't drink until you're 21, because I thought she wanted to buy me some, and I was like, no, I can't take this back to America, I will get arrested, or something bad will happen. So she's like, oh, because in Finland, you have to be like 16 to drink, because she sees like I'm white, so like I must drink like Europeans, which they start from birth. And so that was funny, and so yeah, that was my fun day in Japan. It might sound lame to you, but just the whole day being in another country with this woman who just took me in like I was her child and took care of me and was so friendly, and we found our way to communicate even though we both had troubles with each other's language. It was just really special to me, and it's a time I'll always remember. And I hope that other people get that chance to spend time with another family in another country, because I think it just changes your perspective on life, but it also makes you realize that all people are so similar no matter what country, culture, or religion. We all have those basic ideas and feelings. And yeah, that is what I wanted to share with you. Thank you for listening to my story.